Assalamu alaikum.
So hi guys, we are back with a brand new video. As you have seen the title of this video, I am going to explain all sports in detail. In reality, there are 8,000 sports in the world. So let's start. Number 1. Football. Football is the most popular sport in the world, and it has the most fans with billions. So now let's talk about football in detail. Football in some countries is also called soccer, and to win a match in football you'll have to score more goals than the other team to win the game. In each team there are 11 players, each have a goalkeeper who can stop the opponent's goal by hand. To referee the match, there is also a referee that implements the rules properly. Positions. Players typically have designated positions, such as defenders, midfielders, and forwards, although players can move freely around the pitch. Scoring. A goal is scored when the entire ball crosses the goal line between the goalposts and under the crossbar. Fouls and penalties. Infringements of the rules, such as tripping, pushing, or handling the ball illegally, can result in fouls and penalties. Football is played over 200 countries and territories. Gameplay. Players primarily use their feet to move the ball, with limited use of hands and arms except for the goalkeeper. This was football in detail. Now let's move to our second sport. Number 2. Cricket. Our second sport is cricket. Cricket is a bat and ball game played between two teams of 11 players. The game involves a bowler delivering a ball to a batter, with the objective of scoring runs by hitting the ball and running between wickets. The fielding team tries to prevent runs and dismiss the batsman. Key elements of cricket. Field. Cricket is played on an oval-shaped field with a rectangular pitch in the center. Pitch. The pitch is 22 yards 20.12 meters long and 10 feet 3.04 meters wide. Wickets. At each end of the pitch are wickets, which are made up of 3 stumps and 2 bails. Teams. 2 teams of 11 players compete, with one team batting while the other bowls and fields. Innings. Each team takes turns batting innings, with the goal of scoring more runs than the opposing team. Runs. Runs are scored by hitting the ball and running between the wickets or by hitting boundaries. Dismissals. Batsmen can be dismissed in various ways, such as being bowled, caught, or run out. This was our second sport. Now let's move to our third sport. Number 3. American football. American football is a team sport played between 2 11-player teams on a rectangular field with goalposts at each end. The primary objective is to score points by advancing the oval-shaped ball down the field and into the opposing team's end zone touchdown, or by kicking it through the goalpost's field goal. Teams get 4 attempts downs to advance the ball at least 10 yards. If successful, they get a new set of downs. The game is characterized by strategic plays, both offensive and defensive, and the use of protective equipment due to the physical nature of the sport. Field. The field is 120 yards long including the end zones and 53.3 yards wide. The central 100 yards are where the game is primarily played, with the end zones extending 10 yards beyond the goal lines at each end. Scoring. Touchdown. 6 points. Scored when a player carries the ball into the opponent's end zone or catches a pass while in the end zone. Field goal. 3 points. Scored by kicking the ball through the uprights of the opponent's goalposts. Extra point after touchdown. 1 point by kicking, or 2 points by running or passing the ball into the end zone. Safety. 2 points. Awarded to the defensive team when the offensive player with the ball is tackled in their own end zone. Gameplay. The game is divided into 4 quarters. Teams switch ends of the field after the first and third quarters. Key concepts include the line of scrimmage, where the ball is placed at the start of a play, downs attempts to advance the ball, and the concept of moving the ball into the opposing team's end zone scoring a touchdown. Positions. Teams have offense, defense, and special teams units. Offensive players try to advance the ball down the field, while defensive players try to stop them. Special teams are involved in kicking plays, such as kickoffs and field goal attempts. Other important aspects. Teams can have a roster of 53 players, but only 11 are on the field at a time. American football is known for its physicality and use of protective equipment like helmets and pads. The game has evolved significantly over time, with changes in rules, equipment, and strategies. This was our third sport. Now let's move to our fourth sport. Number 4. Baseball. Baseball is a bat and ball sport played between 2 teams of 9 players on a diamond-shaped field. The game involves alternating between offensive batting and base running and defensive pitching and fielding play. The objective is to score more runs than the opposing team by having players advance around the 4 bases home plate, first, second, and third. A game consists of 9 innings, with each inning divided into a top visiting team bats and bottom home team bats half. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Basic gameplay. Teams. 2 teams of 9 players each compete against each other. Innings. A game is divided into 9 innings, with each team having a turn to bat offense and field defense. Batting. Players from one team attempt to hit a pitched ball with a bat and advance around the bases. Fielding. The other team attempts to prevent the batter from reaching base and scoring runs. Outs. The team gets 3 outs per inning before the teams switch roles. Runs. A run is scored when a player successfully advances around all 4 bases and returns to home plate. Winning. The team with the most runs at the end of 9 innings wins the game. Field and equipment. Diamond. The baseball field is shaped like a diamond, with 4 bases marking the corners. Infield. The area inside the diamond. Outfield. The area beyond the infield. Bat. Used by the batter to hit the ball. Ball. The object that is pitched and hit. Gloves. Worn by fielders to catch the ball. Key terms. Pitcher throws the ball to the batter. Batter hits the ball. Base runners, players who are on base. Catcher, player behind home plate who catches pitches and attempts to prevent stolen bases. This was our 3rd sport. Now let's move on to our 4th sport. Number 4. Basketball. Basketball is a team sport played between 2 teams of 5 players on a rectangular court. The primary objective is to score by shooting a ball through a hoop basket mounted 10 feet 3.05 meters above the ground. It's a dynamic sport characterized by dribbling, passing, shooting, and defensive strategies. Basic gameplay. Teams. 2 teams of 5 players compete against each other. Court. The game is played on a rectangular court, typically indoors. Objective. The main goal is to score by shooting the ball through the opponent's hoop basket. Scoring. A successful shot through the hoop is worth either 2 or 3 points, depending on the distance from which it is shot. Key actions. Dribbling, passing, and shooting the ball are essential skills. Defense. Players on the defensive team try to prevent the opposing team from scoring. Rules. A set of rules governs the game, including those related to fouls, violations, and substitutions. Historical context. Basketball was invented by James Naismith in 1891 at the International YMCA Training School in Springfield, Massachusetts. He aimed to create a less injury-prone sport than football, particularly suitable for indoor play during winter months. The sport quickly gained popularity, spreading from colleges to professional leagues, notably the NBA National Basketball Association. Popularity and global appeal. Basketball is one of the most popular sports globally, with both men's and women's leagues in many countries. It has been included in the Summer Olympic Games since 1936. This was 4th sport. Now let's move to our 5th sport. Number 5. Volleyball. Volleyball is a team sport where 2 teams of 6 players try to score points by grounding the ball on the opponent's court. The game involves hitting the ball over a net with the hands, and teams are allowed a maximum of 3 contacts with the ball before sending it back over the net. A point is scored when the ball touches the ground on the opponent's side, or when the opposing team commits a fault. Key aspects of volleyball. Objective. To score points by grounding the ball on the opponent's court, and to prevent the opponent from doing the same. Scoring. Matches are typically played in best-of-5 sets, with each set going up to 25 points, with a minimum 2-point advantage. Serving. The game begins with one team serving the ball over the net to the opposing team. Rally. The rally continues until the ball is grounded on a team's side or a fault is committed. Rotation. Players rotate positions clockwise after each point when their team gains possession of the serve. Positions. Common positions include setter, middle blocker, outside hitter, weak side hitter, and libero. Variations. Beach volleyball is a popular variation with 2 players per team. This was our 5th sport. Now let's move on to our 6th sport. Number 6. Tennis. Tennis is a racket sport played by 2 singles or 4 players doubles on a rectangular court divided by a net. Players use rackets to hit a ball over the net and into the opponent's half of the court, aiming to make it difficult or impossible for the opponent to return the ball. Key aspects of tennis. Court. The rectangular court is divided by a net, with different dimensions for singles and doubles. Rackets and ball. Players use rackets to hit a hollow, felt-covered rubber ball over the net. Objective. The goal is to hit the ball so that the opponent cannot return it within the designated boundaries of the court, or to make them hit it out of bounds or into the net. Scoring. Points are awarded when the opponent fails to return the ball correctly. Scoring involves love 0, 15, 30, and 40. If both players reach 40, it's deuce, and 2 consecutive points are needed to win the game. Serving. One player serves the ball, alternating sides of the court. In doubles, partners alternate serving. Variations. Tennis can be played on different surfaces like grass, clay, or hard courts, and indoors as well. Historical background. The modern game evolved from an earlier form called jeu de paume played in 12th century France. The modern rules and format were developed in England in the late 19th century. Benefits of playing tennis. Physical fitness. Tennis provides a great workout, improving cardiovascular health, agility, and coordination. Mental benefits. It can help reduce stress and improve focus. Social activity. Tennis is a social sport, allowing players to connect with others and enjoy time with friends. This is the end of part 1. Subscribe for part 2.